Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. This is Grady Hooker. There's no co-host in sight. There's no Josh, there's no Brandon, there's no Fid, and it's payback time. So I had to go out and I had to find my own co-host. It's amazing. But I went, okay, I've always wanted a female co-host. I've always wanted a British co-host. So I found the perfect person.
Hi, my name is Amy.
Yeah. So we'll go and we'll talk about the first match. It was the pre-show match. First little grudge on my end here. Why does New Zealand not get the pre-show? We don't have the option to get the network, so why don't we get the pre-show for free? Little one there. But the match itself wasn't actually that bad. It had its entertaining spots, exactly like the last match between the two of them. I thought myself that this match was a little weaker than the first match, the WLC match. I just think it had second match blues where it's always worse. The ending was a little weird where Hornswoggle, he actually ripped off El Torito's mask. And you were like, did he win? Did he not? And the commentators were like, no, he didn't win. And then it turned out that El Torito can easily win with one backflip. So, yeah, that's how the match ended. What did you think, Amy?
I like Hornswoggle getting his head shaved.
Yeah, you did. So Hornswoggle got his head shaved, but not fully, just the front, to make him look like Paul Heyman. So we're going to call him Paul Swoggle from now on. And 3MB didn't have any sympathy. They had nothing riding on that match. Their mascot just got shaved. That's nothing. So when the match, the card actually started up, New Zealand actually started seeing action. We got Cesaro versus Sheamus for the US title. It was a good match. I can say that. It was a solid, decent, back and forth match between the two of them. But I don't think the loss did anything for Cesaro, and I don't think the roll-up victory did anything for Sheamus. So I think it could have definitely gone better. We could have had something else happen as a surprise, I'm doing air quotes here, surprise finish. Something that doesn't involve Cesaro taking the easy roll-up and out. But Heyman has not really helped Cesaro do much just yet. He's won a few matches, but hasn't actually done much.
I think Heyman sucks.
You do, Amy. Heyman is definitely a good manager. At the start, I didn't think he was too much of a good fit for Cesaro. He's warming into the role, but I think with SummerSlam and the bigger pay-per-views coming up, we're definitely going to see Mr. Lesnar come back, and when Lesnar comes back, anyone else with Heyman is going to be playing second fiddle. I also don't know what's up with Sheamus. He seems to be in a bit of a lull in his career at the moment. Sure, he has the US title, but he's not doing all too much with it, is the problem I'm having with him. So, yeah, he retained the title, just 11 and a half minutes. So it was a fairly lengthy match for the opener, and it was alright. Alright. So if we go to the next match, it was an impromptu match. Also on the pre-show, see, more bits New Zealand misses. On the pre-show, Cody Rhodes and Goldust, they were backstage, and Rybaxel shoved them. Weren't too nice to the guys, little anti-bullying campaign. So they shoved them. They got annoyed, and they made a match? I'm not sure. Cody seems to think he's the weak link. That's what I got coming out of the match as well. Cody says, I'm the weak link. Go get a better tag team partner. So now we're probably going to have some horrendous angle where Goldust has weeks and weeks of different tag team partners where none of them really fit. We all thought we were going to see a split, but we all thought Cody was just going to flip out, go full on heel, and obliterate Goldust. Turns out, he just thinks he's the weak link. So I'm I'm not sure. Rybacks will pick up another win. They're not that bad. I've calmed to the fact that they're not actually that bad. So it's pretty much, it was a tag team match. I much would have preferred the Usos versus the Family for the tag team titles as our obligatory tag team match of the night. But I've seen these two go at it a lot of times. So I'm not like, yay! And I'm not, it's furthering the angle with the Rhodes Brothers. That's pretty much it. See, I feel like having a machine as a co-host is not helping here. Hold on, let's see what. So what do you think, Amy?
Ryback and Curtis Axel are bullies.
They are. Isn't that amazing? You have the exact same opinion of it as me. If only I could type faster. So we're going to go into our classic entrance theme of the week. It's not even an entrance theme. You'll have to cast your minds way back. I think it was 1986. I have no idea. Josh went a little crazy when he was picking the themes. The main event of Payback is a no-holds-barred six-man tag match. But there was also a movie, the first ever WWE Studios movie, back in the 1980s or 90s, called No Holds Barred, starring Hulk Hogan. So we'll play you the theme, the central song of that show now. Hey, you're back with the Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady Hooker. I fired my co-host, Amy. She lasted like 6 minutes. She was just too hard to handle. So we got our next match. This next match went for like 3.5 minutes. No one expected it to go much further. Rusev took on Big E, formerly Langston, just about said it, in what is the latest of a string of squash matches for Rusev. Rusev's just dominating the roster. He's just accolading, locking it in, tap, 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 it's over. I don't think Rusev has lost a match since coming. I definitely think Rusev's character needs to be matched up with someone like Lana. That makes the character. Rusev, I've never seen him on NXT, but I'm guessing he's not too good on the microphone. So it's quite a good thing that Lana does all his microphone work for him. I think this is quite sad for Big E. Big E used to be top of the tier. We were thinking he was going to eke into the main event, and then they merged the two big championships, and Big E had nowhere to go, got stuck in mid-card hell. Rusev's coming up, needs someone to job for him, and there goes Big E. He's not being Damien Sandow just yet, but he's definitely on that hill that's sliding down. I think Rusev, I've said it for a week, probably a month now, Rusev needs to take on Mark Henry. That is a matchup I want to see. I want to see those two go at it, and I want it to be a solid, at least 5 to 10 minute match. Being Rusev's first competitive match. Like, I know Big E got some offense in, but Big E was ultimately squashed during that entire match. So that's where I'm hoping we're going to see that feud go. We do know that Big E and Mark Henry were friends, so maybe they can play on that. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping happens with Rusev. The next match, another one announced on the pre-show. A few unannounced matches here. And bit of a surprise when you're in New Zealand, haven't seen the pre-show, and boom, match. It was the newly debuted Bo Dallas versus Kofi Kingston. Brandon would want to interject here and say, I hate Bo Dallas. That's just what Brandon would do. But yeah, Bo Dallas tried to get his gimmick on, but Kane sort of came out. I've heard that I've got to go read Kofi's Twitter feed to figure it out. But Kane comes out, obliterates Kofi, and walks off. Great appearance by Kane there, getting me a few draft points, but other than that, no idea, really. It seems Kofi Kingston tweeted that he did not like the way Stephanie McMahon treated Bryan. So I think even though it's not corporate Kane, he's still doing the authorities' dirty work. And then Bo Dallas came in and got his gimmick on, tried to convince Kofi Kingston to Bo-leave. That's a horrible catchphrase, but either way, I've heard that these guys are going to have a rematch on Raw. Hopefully this time we actually get to see a match, and not just Kane coming out and killing Kofi. So the next match, I believe, is the Intercontinental Championship. Just under 10 minutes here, Bad News Barrett defended his title against Rob Van Dam. I think everybody had B&B here. Rod Van Dam's at a point in his career where it's good for him to put over the younger talents like B&B, because now B&B looks a lot stronger. He took out one of the veterans, Rod Van Dam, for the Intercontinental title. RVD's held that like 7 times, and he's cementing himself. It's probably not a good thing that Barrett is cementing himself as a mid-carder, but with the titles merged, there's nowhere really for him to go. That's the problem. So, yeah, I can see RVD heading into the Money in the Bank match. That one's fairly obvious. He was in it last year. I believe it was his returning match in the All-Stars Money in the Bank. But since there's only one title, I'm imagining there's only going to be one Money in the Bank this year at the pay-per-view, the next one. And if I listed everybody I wanted to put in it, there would be about a 20-man Money in the Bank. So, who knows? I think Barrett is going to hold on to the title a little longer. I don't know if he'll hold on to it much longer. I also don't think, I'm trying to think back in my mind, I don't think Barrett has lost a match since re-debuting the Bad News Barrett gimmick in the ring. I may be wrong there, probably get yelled at by Josh, like, oh, he lost that one match on SmackDown. But yeah, I think Barrett will hold on to the title. I think RVD will move into Money in the Bank, and everybody will live happily ever after. So I'm not sure if this is where it was, but I'll talk about it here. Stephanie McMahon calls out Daniel Bryan, and he's got to make his decision. I think we talked about it a little before. What would we choose? Either your wife being fired or giving up the championship. I think everybody picked the wife being fired here. Sorry. But they took a turn for the worst. Stephanie had that smirk on her face like, haha, I've won this. And then when Brie and Bryan came out, they were like, haha, we've won this, with their own smirk. And it's like, you both can't win. And then all of a sudden, Brie announces that she's quitting. And then, psh, I think they're calling it the slap that was heard around the world. And Stephanie runs off crying back to Daddy, or hubby. I don't know who was backstage at that point. But I bet that left a mark. So Brie is no longer, and Nikki Bella is the sole Bella. I don't know where they're going to go. I think that may be an angle. I think Brie will come back. No offense to Nikki, but that gimmick was definitely the twins, and she's still on Total Divas. So there's got to be some sort of overlap or something. Hopefully Brie comes back. No offense to Nikki, but the gimmick was definitely twins. Either way, I see Bryan, since he didn't give up the titles, I think that he will be, not 100%, but able to compete at Money in the Bank. I think he'll either put the title on the line against Kane there, and maybe if he can't make the match, or if the medics don't clear him or something, they'll make the Money in the Bank match a number one contender or something, winner faces Kane. But they will strip him then. I think Money in the Bank is the do or die moment, where he's either defending his titles or he's got no titles. But yeah, hopefully we see Daniel Bryan back on his feet and we can continue this angle of his that got derailed. We'll jump into the current entrance theme of the week. It's Justin Gabriel's. I don't know if he's used it on anything other than like Superstars, but Josh picked it, so don't blame me. Here you go. Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady Hooker. So we're going to jump back into Payback where we left off. We've got 3 matches left, and this is where cabin fever starts setting in. I'm rocking back and forth, only man here, creeping out, talking to myself for half an hour. Normal people would think I'm crazy. Not James Shaw crazy, but crazy. Biff me in a loony bin at this point. But no, I'm just recording radio. So the next match is a last man standing match. John Cena, who brought the Usos to his side, because without them we all know he would have lost, versus Bray Wyatt, the blow-off match for the feud. And Cena comes out on top. Not too happy with that, but I'm not going to rant about my personal ramblings all over the radio. But personally, I think Bray would have benefited more from having the win here. I don't think Cena needs the win at this point. Everybody's going to either boo or cheer Cena. It ain't going to help him by winning a match or not. And personally, I thought this match was, like, some people are saying this is match of the night. I thought this match was weak. There was a few great spots, the stairs throwing, but it just didn't gel right to me. I don't know if it was rubber matchitis, where we'd already seen it 2 times. But Cena, like, from the start, he got knocked down, simple move, and he was down for like an 8. So Cena was acting weak from the start. Pretty much everything kept him down for a 9 or an 8 from the start. Nobody's down for an 8 from the start. And then we had the constant Uso family interference. I would have preferred them to stay the hell out of the match. And then classic Cena. I'm completely knocked out. 9 count. Oh, I can barely stand. What's that? My opponent's walking towards me. AA, perfectly stand on my feet waiting for him. I know he's meant to be magic with his superpowers, but come on. Let's put some believability in on Cena. And the match ends when Cena AA's Bray Wyatt through, I believe it was a sound equipment box, and then biffs another sound equipment box on top. Now, I know those sound equipment boxes aren't actually that heavy. Personally, I wanted to see Bray, because Cena was standing on top of it, I wanted to see Bray pick it up with Cena on top of it, throw it to the side, and get up, and then have some other finish to the match. I think that would have elevated Bray there. Just that crazy, I can take your beating and come back guy. Rather than just sit laying down in a cardboard box for the 10 count. That's what I think would have made the match better, but hey, I'm not creative. Next we had the Divas Championship. Paige, Alicia Fox. This definitely went the right way. I agree 100% with this match. Alicia, she doesn't impress me, sadly. Paige does. Paige does heaps. But Alicia, I just don't know. I don't know if she's just not clicking with me personally, or as a character I just don't believe that I flip out after matches and have a hissy fit. Or if I just don't care about her, which may be the problem. But either way, Paige wins, moves on to the next challenger, and waits till AJ's back till they can have a proper feud. Quite surprised Paige didn't have more boos, taking the title off AJ, AJ's CM Punk's fiance, CM Punk's hometown, but it all worked out for the best. So we'll jump into the 6-man tag, no holds barred elimination match. It's like the most words ever for a match title. Why don't put it in a steel cage? Or Hell in a Cell, that's 4 more words. Yeah, I'm definitely going crazy now. We got the Shield versus Evolution. And this match actually, Evolution dominated 90% of this match. Including some sick torture scenes where they held Reigns down and caned him. That was a little horrible. And they completely dominated the Shield. I think it was a good 20 minutes in, no eliminations. And then we head back to the ring, and all of a sudden, boom, Shield's here. We get Seth Rollins diving off the top of the monitor. What would you call that? The big, tall thing. We get Reigns coming back with spears. We get Ambrose front DDTing people into steel chairs. I think Ambrose eliminated... I'm going to go with Rollins eliminated Batista. I think. First. And then, all of a sudden, Dean Ambrose eliminates Orton. And at that point, it was pretty obvious Reigns would eliminate Triple H. It just made sense. And the Shield clean sweeped Evolution. They were dominated for 90% of the match and then magically come back. I think I'd want to say this feud is over barring a major change. We've heard through the grapevine that Batista is taking time off. So if Batista leaves, that leaves an open spot in Evolution. And we know that they love to adapt. It's on their t-shirts and everything. So I could see them adapting, taking on another member. We've definitely seen rumours of Sheamus, Rybaxel, some big guys, to replace the muscle role. But what's also been thrown around a lot is a Shield defection. Maybe Ambrose, Reigns, maybe even Rollins, jumping over to Evolution's side. In which case, that would definitely extend the feud. You got a whole new ball game if someone from the Shield jumps to Evolution, and the fact that the Shield then has an open spot. So maybe we'll bring up another guy from NXT to fill the spot. Maybe we'll use someone on the current roster who's not being utilized, like Gabriel, Kidd, Hawkins, a couple of those people. And then we've got a new 3-on-3 feud with completely smushed up teams. And a while back I said that we'll have this, we'll extend it through, and we'll have some form of ending match at Battleground. So maybe this is how they're extending it. They're going to do like a member switchy switch, have a match at Money in the Bank, and then move on to having the final feud blow-off match at Battleground. Boom. Reigns Triple H at SummerSlam. Perfect. So I got... How long's that? About 2 minutes left on the show. That was my maths noise. Maths. And I'll talk a little about Money in the Bank. It's not my favourite pay-per-view of the year, but the match type is there. I love the fact that we got 6 to 8 men in a ring trying to climb up a ladder. It's true and utter chaos. I really hope we get 2. I don't see how we can get 2. It makes minimal sense, but do it anyway, because I said so. The more of them, the better. Except maybe 3 or 4, then we're starting to overplay them. They're so packed full of talent. Like, look at last year's All-Stars. That had everybody. But they can also elevate careers if you win it. I think I've heard the co-stars thrown around some different people who they think might pick up the Money in the Bank and get elevated. Rocket back. But I'm not hedging my bets just yet. I want to see who's in it, and then I'll start making my picks, because they could put any of 20, 25 people in there, in which case it's a different match. I'd predict different people for every situation, and even then it could completely change. Okay, so that's all I got time for this week. Big congratulations goes out to Josh. He couldn't be here because he actually just sat his insurer licensing exam. He passed it. He'll now sell you insurance. So we're not going to see him for, I think, a month, but then he's going to be back, and he is going to be wearing a suit, probably. I'll make him wear a suit. You can't see him, but he will be. So you can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio, or our website, wrestlingroundup.host22.com. Don't forget that the second part of that James Shaw interview will be on next week, or you can catch the full thing on our social media links. I'll see you next week.